Yeah.
When you
Everybody.
step out of bed, I need to do something else with that foot other than put it on the ground. Accountability. I need somebody to hold me accountable for that because you know what, time blocking. Man.
Well, you're the first person to let yourself off the hook, right?
Right.
You're the first person to say, I know I really gotta go do this. Because we can justify, I mean, has anybody ever actually driven to the gym, got to the parking lot, and then turned around and left? And like talked themselves, oh, I have. I'm the first person that'll be like, you know, God, oh boy, my hamstring. I really don't know. I should probably rest today. It's better for me. Because, you know, if I run, I might injure it more. I could get hurt. Totally, at least a week, yeah. So, but if I'm meeting somebody at the gym, if I know I have to see Kevin's face when I walk in, am I going to be more likely to not rest that slightly tweaked, not at all injured hamstring? Okay, what are other ones?
411.
Okay, so that's your schedule, your habits. What else?
Mindset.
What about environment? What about setting your environment? Because you can have the greatest time block schedule written out and your 411 and your success list and your dominoes and everything else. But if you don't have an environment that you've purposely eliminated distractions from, are you going to stick to your time blocking?
No. If you guys haven't read the
Go
one
ahead.
thing, like Gary comes right out and says that if you're multitasking, you lose, on average, 28% of your efficacy. Effectiveness.
Did you have to look that word up?
That's a 10. That's a 12-pointer.
Right?
That's the word of the day for Celine.
Okay. Are we missing anything? Do you guys all agree? What do you think? Feedback here. Kevin, you had something you were going to say a minute ago.
Well, when you were talking about the mindset and eliminating distractions, and that's so important. You see that struggle with licensees who don't, and that's why I don't have an office at home. Because the only thing that would ever actually get opened would be the refrigerator. It wouldn't be any emails. Just everything shiny. And then the mindset issue is that dealing with licensees where you tell them this, it's I know that. Well, apparently what you know and what you do are not connecting.
There's a disconnect somewhere. Yeah, Joe.
I had a funny conversation with a new licensee that took the tennis class. He goes, man, I'm in this class of 30 people. There's 2 guys as opposed to 28 women. Are us guys not able to last in this business? Why is that? And it's funny because what we see is with male licensees versus female licensees is 2 different things. The female will come up and go, tell me what to do, tell me what to do, tell me what to do. And the male will go, I got this.
Kind of like asking for directions.
Yeah, I'll call you if I need you, kind of a thing. So, for a lot of us, it is getting down to, I think, the accountability piece and getting over ourselves.
So if we all agree that these 5 are the most important, of these 5, you see the pattern, of these 5, which is the most important thing to help you time block, which will help you execute lead generation, which will get you to your goals? Which one is the most important?
Well, I think that might be different for an individual. Some might say mindset, some might be accountability.
Sure, I agree with you 100%. So I totally agree with that. I'm actually going to expand on that in a second. So show of hands, how many vote for accountability right now? Okay, anybody else, anything else?
Mindset.
Okay. So there's not a right or wrong answer, okay? So for you, since we're doing Jacob, which one is the most important?
Mine would be mindset.
Okay.
You can hold me accountable, but if I don't have the right mindset, I'll make stuff.
Blow that off.
Yes, okay. So do you understand you just found your one thing? Here's your one thing. This is it. Mindset. So for Jacob, mindset is his one thing. That has to be checked, challenged, held into place for good. Now here's the interesting piece. This will not always be his one thing. Because in 66 days or so, when he's developed a habit of having maybe, so how would you change him, how would he change his mindset? How does that happen? That's a real vague, kind of broad term. How does that happen?
There's another 5 options underneath mindset on what do you need to do.
Coaching.
Reading, maybe he's committing to reading something every day, or maybe he's listens to a video, a success, success magazine, DVD, all kinds of things, affirmations that he does every day.
Meeting gets awards.
Exactly, gets a little recognition. But once you get to a place where you can say, you know what, I actually think I'm good with this, like my mindset is strong and healthy, now guess what happens? Success is sequential. It's one domino at a time. So that's the first domino. Now he needs to push out a larger domino. So now what does it become? Maybe next, it is accountability. So now he says, okay, I got my mindset right, now I need to really pursue accountability. I'm gonna find an accountability partner that's gonna get in my face, that's gonna challenge me, that's gonna really hold my feet to the fire.
I actually think habits would be after mindset.
Well, I mean, it's for you, maybe, everybody's
And
different,
then
right?
someone to hold me accountable for those habits.
Sure, that may be your thing. Understand that, again, there's no pass, fail, right, wrong. As long as your logic is working. This is basically just logic. You're just working backwards. And there's a word for that that I know it, I just completely blanked on it. Derivative logic. You're just starting at the end with the end game, and you're working backwards. So starting with the end in mind. So would this exercise be helpful for you in getting to your one thing? Now here's what's crazy. You can do this on all 7 blocks. So let's say you're into the financial one. We just came back from listening to Dave Ramsey speak. You start working it backwards, and you may find that your one thing is the debt snowball, is paying off your debt, smallest debt at a time. You may find, with your relationships. My coach told me what he got all the way down to his one thing in his relationship with his wife was to wake up every morning and the first thing that came out of his mouth was, I love you, I couldn't live without you, you are a game changer for me. And what he shared was, after doing that for 30 days, they had the wives. Now these guys have been married. A lot of you have met my coach. He comes to stuff. His name's Mike Fleming. They've been married for 27 years. He's an older guy. His wife's mother died, and something else pretty drastic happened in the last 30 days. Under that kind of stress, typically that shows up with some arguments in your relationships. It's not bad. It's just stress happens and you take it out on each other. It's what you do. Everybody does it. He said we've had no grenade bombs in 30 days. He said, I can't help but think that's connected to the fact that every single day I start with an affirmation to my wife. So that's his one thing. So you get that you can take this exercise and go to page 114, and trust me, I did it this weekend. It took me 3.5 hours. This is not an easy exercise because you run out of, you guys felt it, right? There comes a point where you're like, what's the answer? And we always want to get the right answer, too. Or you match up with someone and have them help you do it. But I would really challenge you to spend some time in the book on those 7 sections and work through this and drill it down. And you guys get that it's not always going to be, this isn't always going to be your one thing. Someone explain the domino. Well, Jacob, you're up front. What is the domino theory that he explains in the book and he talked about to us?
Well, I think the world record for Kevin.
Oh, I was going to say it's that an object in motion can move another object in motion 1.5 times its mass.
Right.
1.5 times. So if you start with the right now if you start with the wrong domino, what happens? You don't get anywhere. Because you may not even be able to get it tipped over. So if you start with, I'm going to take listings, okay, that's great. I was coaching with someone on Friday, and she was sharing that she wanted to go into this particular niche of the market, like a first-time home buyer or like an investment property, and she was really excited about it. And I kept steering her back to her lead generation, and she finally looked at me. She goes, "Why are you fighting me on investment property? Why are you putting up roadblocks? Why aren't you supporting me?" And I said, "Oh no, I totally support you. But just talking about investments isn't going to make anything happen. we've got to get you down to a small point of action. Then we can talk about what it looks like. And she was like, oh, I get it. So the best thing you guys can do coming into this year, which by the way, does anybody feel a little busy right now? A little crazy? Like a lot of stuff's going on and you're running and you're showing property and you're writing offers and you're here at night and things are happening. If you don't stop now, you're never going to stop and do this. You're not, because it's only going to get busier. We haven't even hit selling season yet. It's not going to slow down, right? So you've got to carve out the time to do this. So now when you know what your one thing is and you go to make your success list every Sunday night for the week, you build it around your one thing. Does this make sense to anybody? Does this help you at all? Was anybody finding frustration with trying to identify the one thing? It wasn't just me. Was I alone in this building with going, I mean, I know I'm supposed to say lead generation, right? Like that's the right answer to everything. I know that I'm supposed to say that, but it's more than just lead generation. How do I effectively lead generate? What is my one thing?
Now, how do you know when you get to the end? Because like you said, mindset, you could break it down another.
Well, you could do this ad nauseum. I mean, you could do this forever. This is basically a good, I mean, we could go, you know, you could sit here and break it down and be still sitting here tomorrow.
Is it like
breaking it
3 or 4 levels? It's
Yep, that's the model I've been given. So I think at that point, mindset, you know, if your list is fix your mindset, then you know what you have to do that week. Read a Maxwell book, do your affirmation. That becomes how you do it. Guys, here's the thing, and this is why I want you to grasp this now. We all know what happens when the market gets really busy. You guys are you've all been doing work. You've been working so hard. Fourth quarter, you know, it showed up big. First quarter. I mean, Allison and I were just talking Saturday. We were in here transmitting. Well, she was transmitting and I was drinking coffee. And let's be clear about how that works. And she goes, I don't understand that. I don't either. I don't know why this isn't working. Yeah, it's really not working. I'm just moral support. That's all that I am. Where did that $85 go? Oh, here, I'll write you a check. Just make it balance. We were sitting here talking, and last year we were really surprised because you guys really pick up steam in May, right? And what did we say?
It's on in March.
Yeah, so last year it showed up in April. Kind of caught us off guard. We were like, holy crap, these guys are doing major business. I think it's gonna, well, it already looks like it. We're one day in. It's gonna show up in March. So what's the trap then that we fall into? Anybody familiar with this cycle? This is Dave Brown. Along with plus 247 other people here. Yes, so you're not alone, trust me. What happens? What is the cycle, Jacob, since you're sitting up front? Yeah, you lead generate like crazy, you do work, and then what happens? It shows up, right? You're so busy and everything's happening, and oh, by the way, you lead generating. Oh. Yeah. We forget, right? Because I'm so busy. So then what happens? Well, everything closes. And then you turn around and you go, oh man, there's a deal on my desk. I know there is. So here's what I want you to think about going forward. Let's pretend for a minute that you guys own a grocery store. Okay? 3
very good.
I have a lot of stuff to do right now. I cannot touch my calls. I am busy swapping the floor and telling everybody else to go back out and do business. So every time you find yourself getting pulled off that lead generation task, I want you to picture that. Like, get something in your head that is so ludicrous that you sit here and you roll your eyes and you laugh because you know that you would never in a million years operate a business that way. Right? So that's your check and balance. Don't go clean up applesauce until you've got the doors open and you've got everything running. Guys, the applesauce will be there. Is that applesauce going anywhere? Now, for all the brokers in the room, you know I'm not saying don't take care of your clients and your files and your systems and all the things you need to take care of. Do a good job. Do an excellent job. Don't do a good job. Do an excellent job. But don't shut the door on your business. Thank you, Mark, for sharing that analogy with me last week in coaching, where I learned more from coaching people than I do helping people. Yeah. I mean, I heard that and it just, I went, oh my gosh. This is the story of my life. Does that resonate with anyone? What are you thinking right now? Ready to go back and find your mom in the bucket? So what are you thinking? I agree. Now let me ask you a question, Ed. Let's say that you're coaching a single agent in this room who says, I do $4 million a year. And yeah, that's great. I get that you can hire a Katie, you can afford a Katie, you can afford a Katie and a Kate. What do I do? Because I don't sell $40 million a year.
You got a time block. You got a time block. And you have to be persistent, you have to be focused about it, and consistency is the only key to success when it comes to time blocking. You have to do it, and you have to be purposeful in saying, no, this is my time. So, I time block in my office, and there's certain times of the day where I'm in there behind doors, and it doesn't matter who comes in. Christy or Crystal or Katie or somebody will block it before they get to my office. Now, over time, like you the other day, for example, I came up to see you and I was just going to pop my head in after I was going to say, contact Linda. So I made an appointment. The next day, I talked to you for an hour.
An hour.
I really only want to talk to you for 10 minutes, but I talked to you for an hour because I had an hour. And I had the time block. But it was your time block, and you made it impenetrable. And you got to do that with lead generation. You just have to say, look, this is my time. I've got to make my calls. And, the power says more power, more energy in the morning. However you do it, you time block whatever works for you. And as long as it's consistent, you'll be successful. We used to do this all the time with Lead Arcade. All the time. Because I had to do home inspections and I had to do all that other stuff to get it closed. And now we kick ourselves. And I looked over our last 12 months, the number of contracts we did and the volume that we did. And yeah, a little bit slow in the wintertime picks up, and we're pretty consistent all the way through till October.
Well, you have seasonality, that's normal, right?
Yeah,
You're never gonna
but
run a
you're pretty
business, oh, by the
consistent.
way, that says I'm gonna close exactly the same number every single month, because that's what I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna hit my goals, and it all averages out neatly with a 12.
But over the
divided by 12.
course of the last 3 years,
But then you,
it's consistent. So
Exactly.
what we're doing is we're seizing the seasonality, but we're not seeing the, it used to be March was great, April, May sucked, and then June, July was great, and then because it's on a
Quarter,
6-week
quarter.
cycle based on the amount of closings we have.
so that's, exactly, that's how you balance it out. You're gonna have seasonality that has normal paces to the market, but your goal is to get that thing as even and as steady as possible, which means don't go clean up the messes. Joe and then Dave.
I was just gonna say, specifically for those individual agents, 2 to 4 million, 5 million, whatever it is, go hire Laney or Lindsay for $300 a transaction. Duh.
Is there anybody in the room that really made that leap this year for the very first time with one of our transaction coordinators that said, I'm gonna finally just do this and let him run with it? That can, I just can't remember if there's anybody in here. Yes.
I did.
What was that like for you?
It was wonderful.
It's
It's free and I have time to work my business.
It was interesting, I was talking with one of my coaching clients on Friday about this, and she said, okay, so I'm gonna get to X amount of units closed. For her, it's 10, so she's done 4 in January, 4 in February. She says, as soon as I get to 10, then I'm gonna give everything to Lainey, or Lindsay, whichever one she's choosing, I don't even remember. I said, why are you thinking about it that way? I said, you just had a season where you just came in here Friday morning to coach, and you told me you did not make your calls. That of your 50, you made 11. And I asked you why, and you said, I had 5 pending, but now I got 2 closed, so I'm down to 3, but I was really busy with these 2 because blah, 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 Georgia broke, yada, yada, yada. I said, okay, you don't have to dive, guys, get creative. You don't have to dive into the deep end of the pool 100%. You don't have to say, Lindsay, Lainey, here's all of my files. What if you say, I can manage 3, but on the 4th one, I'm gonna give that to her. Because I'm okay at 3, but I'll give her 4 or 5. And then when I'm carrying 3, whatever goes over, does that make sense? You don't have to like go all in. They're good with that, both of them will work with it. It's not a sign your life away, it's just keep buying the leverage to protect your time. Maybe you say, well, I can't afford $300 off of every file. Okay, so on 3 of them, don't pay it, but on the 4th and 5th one, do. Whatever you have to do to protect your time, protect your time. That was Allison and I sat and talked about it at family reunion. I shared it with you 2 weeks ago. That was my aha, was I've got to eliminate the distractions. Here's what I found yesterday. I eliminated the distractions. I was done with my calls in about 52 minutes. I walked into her office, I'm done. I have all my appointments set, and I'm done. I had time blocked for 2 hours. I was done. Because I didn't let anything come in, and that shocked me. It's like, wait a minute, I can do this. I can do this effectively, yeah.
I think for me, I'll know when I've arrived when I put the same weight on lead generation as I do if I'm in my office at 9 o'clock, somebody calls and says, hey, I saw you on your website, I want to buy this house, I'm sitting in front, can you show it to me, it's vacant? And what would I do? I'd jump up, boom, I'd be there in 15 minutes and I'd do the thing. When lead generation is that important, then I'll arrive. And I haven't quite got there yet. Now it's so like, well, maybe I can do something. I'll do it later. You know, I have a tendency to put it off a little bit.
We erase and replace maybe a little too quickly.
That's right.
Yes.
You know, I do blitzes. I will lead generate for a long period of time, and I'll do well at it. And then not too long ago, things weren't going as fast as I wanted after this year. We had a market shift. I don't think I had too many buyers. I couldn't do my listings where I wanted to be, and my time was just captured. So I called Jennifer and I said, so do you ever just throw the time blocking out and I'm ready to start slugging it out? And I did. And I mean, for 3 weeks, I hammered because I wanted to get the pendings. And then I had that phone call from my wife. My wife said, Bob, it was so simple and so soft. You are trading your health right now. I said, okay, I understand. Quick. I mean, it was that quick. It was 8:30 at night, and I had drivers in front of me. I didn't have the keys to the office. I didn't have my briefcase with me. I'm calling everybody under the sun to try to get into the building. And there's 2 offers on my desk. I didn't know which one they were going to buy. I just knew they were going to buy one. All of it now. And so I threw it out, and I haven't got back to it. Okay, I threw it out because I got, I guess, desperate.
Yeah.
Got to make this thing work one way or another. So as a result, I'm going to do a big change. I don't want to do buyers anymore.
So you can lead generate, yes.
Yeah.
Mr. Bell? The Regis and Kelly dynamic has changed a little bit here, but I'm just keeping them up here because, you know, it just feels good to have
He
them.
looks better anyway.
He looks good.
So I was having a conversation with an agent, typically $2 to $3 million producer, did about 4 to 5 this last year. And we were having a conversation of how do we continue over 5 million. And he was battling me. I said, go get a buyer's agent. Go get a buyer's agent, go get a buyer's agent. He's just battling. Finally I said, okay dude, if you want to fight, you know, for those excuses, you gotta keep them. You know, and this is the same thing. You have to figure out how to get over your excuses. Oh, I can't afford the $300. Okay, well, if that's your mindset and you're not interested in figuring out how to get around it, then I'm sorry, you're gonna be stuck for a while until you can change that.
Well, it's the lid conversation. How long are you willing to put a lid on yourself?
Because I'm gonna tell you, how many people in this room here have kids? Raise your hand. Not one time ever in my life will my child come to me and I'm going to say to them, don't try, you're great, your status quo is awesome. Put the lid right there, Brianna. Put the lid right there, CJ. Don't push, don't get better. Nope, you're great just as you are. No, you would never say that to your kids. You'd encourage them to try more, do greater, be more, achieve, reach for the stars. I said, Tony, sat there with someone else just the other night. We're having a conversation Sunday night here in Washington, D.C. And he says, listen, I just wanted to let you know I've got my plans all laid out. I've got my options. I said, okay, I'd love to hear these from a 16-year-old boy. This is going to be entertaining. He said, well, assuming the NFL doesn't work out, option B is the CFL. So, you know, that's good. Option C is real estate. Option D is I want to do collision repair. And option E is cashew art. That's my option. Exactly. Or the CFL, if that doesn't work out. So but I say that to say, like, my reaction was, reach, think, big, great, go for it, whatever, just keep the broad horizon. But we put lids on ourselves by coming up with excuses and reasons why it can't work, it can't work, it can't work. And I'm not picking on the $3-4 million producers. I wanted Ed, I know what objections go up in your head. You hear Ed sit back there say, Ed's got a big old fleet, he's got a big team, he and Dar have all
40 million, they're huge. Of course they hired Katie. Really easy to be said and done.
But they always want
But they got there. But this is the thing, and you may not want to get there. That's okay. I'm not attached to where you are or where you want to go. What I'm attached to is that you protect the time.
You know, I started using Laney last year, and that was a huge leap because it is. It's $300. You're scared.
And control. It's
Oh,
even
yeah, I
more
have
than the
control
money,
issues.
even more than $300 it's control.
We need a
Yeah.
12-step program.
Yeah.
Um,
It's secret meeting 5 a.m. here. We don't talk
She
about
took
it.
over and did 3 or 4 files for me. $300 was non-existent. It's not an issue. It freed up my time to regenerate, to be with my family, to meet with clients. I don't have to worry about files. Now I have Katie, and I'm afraid to touch a file because I'm not really quite sure how .loop works anymore.
Right.
So it's liberating. It's a lot like our clients buying a house. They are scared to death of that house payment if they're
Sure.
first-time home buyers. I just bought a car. I was scared to death. That's been 12 years. Once you get into it, what were you afraid of?
So what I want you to take away from this, sorry, I just looked at the clock. What here's summing it all up into 2 quick statements. Number 1, don't be the grocery store guy that closes the door. Keep that visual right here in your head. And every time you catch yourself doing it, if you need to come, look around the room, see who's here. If you need to walk to somebody's office that was in the room today, and if it's Gomez and she says, I need to go, Bob, remind me, get in my face right now. Remind me about the grocery store. Do it, check each other, right? Remember the grocery store. But secondly, and most importantly, drill it down. Do page 114. Guys, I would love to hear your ahas from that. I would love nothing more than to get your emails and your texts where you say, I figured out my one thing here. I figured out my one thing here. Because that's when you guys put this town on fire. It's when you get that. Any thoughts, comments, or ahas before I let you go? Yes, ma'am.
Not on topic.
Totally off topic.
Totally
yes,
off
go
topic.
for it, please, if that's what you want to say.
I sent out an email to quite a few of the realtors, and I know other people have gone out, but I run a support program,
budgetary issues. So this happened, I want to say from memory, 2-3 years ago this happened, and I was out of the loop for about a month to 2 months. So
Do they
don't
have
know.
a loan number, or are they still okay?
No, they have to have a cohort number. A cohort number is basically what gives us the commitment through HUD 184, and we don't get that till almost the very end. Your file goes through underwriting, gets cleared, and then the underwriter gets the cohort number. So I had one where in the process for a week and a half, and had to call them and say FHA
Back to square
or
one.
Alaska Housing Conventional Cook Housing possibly.
Okay.
So
So if you've got any HUD 184 loans in process, you need to go talk to Christy or your lender